All right, so let's go ahead and go over our problems that I asked you to do. The first one is number 1. So here we're just going to simplify our algebraic expression. If you know just from square roots, every term in this problem is a square root, okay? So that's going to make our problem really easy. So everything inside the parentheses is squared. So we'll know, or not inside the parentheses, but we can make a parentheses like this, and we can square it. Since we know every term in this problem is a square root. So we have 16, and the square root of 16 is 4. And we have b, which is squared already, so we just know b by itself will work. We have minus 25, which is a square root, and the square root of 25 is 5. And the square root of z squared is z. So, in simplest form, we have 4b minus 5z, all squared. If you were to work this out, the FOIL method, 4b minus 5z times 4b minus 5z, using the FOIL method, this will take you right back to this. So it's simply another way to write the problem, and this is in its simplest form. Okay, so let's move on to number 4, where we'll do the same thing. Always look for your greatest common factor, but pay attention to the square roots. That's why I had you to memorize the other square roots, so when you see these numbers, it should go off in your head as you can use it to simplify it. All right, so moving on to number 4, let's keep the same things in mind. So we got 4t cubed minus 20t. Okay? Here again, we're going to find our greatest common factor. We have 4 and we have 20. 4 is going to be our greatest common factor because it can be multiplied or divided into itself, and as well as the 20. Okay? It can be divided 5 times. We can also take out a t because we have 2 t's here. One's to the 3rd power and one's to the 1st power. What we can take out is only 1 because that's our greatest common factor. Okay, so we'll take out a 4 and t, and then inside of parentheses we have t squared, because if we take out a t, then you only have 2 t's, you just subtract it. And we took out the 4, so that's understood to be a 1. 20 divided by 4 is 5, so you have 5. T, which we took out, so you can't put that back into the equation because we already have it out. So this is the same as this, and we'll even work it out just to make sure that we have the right answer. If you have time on the test, you can if you have time, but if not, just move on. So if you take 4t times t squared, that'll equal t, you'll add the variables, 2 plus 1 is 3. And then you do 4t minus 5, which is a negative 20t, which takes us right back. So this is your answer, which is selection A. So let's go to number 8, keeping the same things in mind. Okay, so we have 3z cubed plus 6z squared. So, again, we're going to look for our greatest common factor. Our greatest common factor would be 3 or a 6. We can't use 6, so we're going to use 3, because 3 is divisible by itself, and 6 is divisible by 3 as well. When you have z cubed and z squared, our greatest common factor will be z squared. So, we'll take out our 3 and our z squared, and then we have what's going to be left. If we take a 3 and a z squared from this, we have just left 1z. If you take a 3z squared from this, you're just going to have a 2, because z squared is already pulled out. And again, let's multiply just to make sure we have the right answer. So we have 3z squared times a z. You'll add the variables, so 3z cubed. Then you have plus 3 times 2, 3z squared plus 2, or times 2, which is 6z squared. So all you're doing is finding greatest common factor and simplifying, and you can check your work if you have time. So now